Hello and welcome to Exceptionally Active with Acting Out Communications. Hi, my name is Tyler Madden. I will be your guide and I am the creator of Acting Out Communications. So, you'll get to know me a little bit on this video and then you'll get to know what we kind of do. First of all, welcome again as always. This is a special segment for exceptional children through acting exercises. We will be developing communication with exceptional students or children through acting methods and improvisational techniques. So this is a very informative exercise. Will be informative exercises for you as an educator and fun for these students. But they also get to bond and learn about themselves and learn how to work and communicate with others. So we believe that exceptional children are just as good as anybody else. We just want to guide them through acting out communications on ways to work on that. All right. So let's begin. So to start off, who am I? I'm nobody. No. Once again, my name is Tyler Madden. A little bit about me. I am a 11 years of professional and amateur acting. So that means I've been acting for 11 years approximately, amateur-wise and professionally-wise. I am a stage and film actor, so I've done both. Mostly stage is my background, but I do both. I love acting, I love theater, I love the profession in general. Clearly I do since I went to school for it. Speaking of that, I got my education, I got my BFA from North Carolina A&T State University. And then from some reason, I decided to go get my MFA at the University of Louisville. And now I am an educator and an actor, so I still perform. As far as my academia accolades, I've been teaching for approximately 6 years, including grad school. Currently, I'm teaching at North Carolina A&T, my alma mater, which I really super enjoy. Coming back home is one of the most greatest things, especially coming back to the university that started your career. So I love what I do, but most importantly, I like what I do for others. So you're probably wondering why acting? Well, it's simple. One of the lessons I learned when I was younger, especially when I was undergrad at A&T, what I learned is that I had an older gentleman that taught me a very key thing for my career as an actor. And he taught me how to find empathy. Or he told me that as an actor that I should have very good eye for empathy or understand what it meant. And ironically, I didn't understand what it meant. And then I realized what it meant. And what it means is to see outside of yourself in others. And I like that about acting because it's very unique to see what you see out of others. And when people begin to act, or when people who have never done this, it's amazing to see what they develop out of themselves and what they discover out of themselves through acting or acting like someone else. So with techniques and improvisational things, you'll be able to find ways and exercises for you to work with your students. And I've learned this throughout the years in my profession and as an educator on how to find ways to communicate with students or finding ways that students can communicate with others. I learned a lot of this even furthermore when I came to grad school, and I learned through teaching like classes like acting for non-major that the power of acting, how it can help you express comfortably in a room full of people, no matter who they are, no matter what's going on. And that's a big thing for some students, a big thing for adults in general. So I learned and I got to really help a lot of my students develop communication skills, comfortability, being around others, in whatever setting they were in. So I kind of had a passion for that. You know, I always have a passion for my acting as well, but I really had a passion for helping others to develop and discover themselves and discover how they can input themselves in today's society. All right. So that's a little bit about me and my background, and then what kind of brought me into doing this. All right. So to start off, who are we? Easy. Acting Out Communications. We are a consultation for developing and enhancing communication skills for people. So we deal with people all across the board. We are not limited to a certain demographic. We believe in creating intuitive experiences for all people, no matter the obstacles that they face. All right. So, acting out communications, or as you can also say, AOC, uses acting approaches and techniques to broaden communication skills amongst others. We deal with one-on-one or group consultations. So you understand that we can do with anybody. So we can work with a one-on-one consultation. A lot of times people like me do life coaching and whatnot. Me particularly, I like to deal with communications. We can do one-on-one, or we can do a group of people. The more the merrier, right? So, but we do either way across the board. What makes the AOC experience unique is that our exercises and approach is geared to our clients to have a practical and relaxed avenue when it comes to interacting with people every day. We are also not limited to any cause, whether it is professional or personal. So what that means is whether you're a company that wants our help or you want to work on your own personal or self-development for yourself. Either way, we're here for you. All right. And the unique things about this is that we use really acting exercises, which can be really, really fun, but it can be very informative. As the educator, as you educators looking at this, it gives you the opportunity for them to when you're working with your students, to be able to gauge how they interact with things, but at the same time, they're having fun. And what I discovered is that people have a tendency to be scared because they don't get to put in a bubble to where they have to interact with some people and whatnot. With these exercises, instead of having a full-on conversation, which can really alienate people, no matter who they are and whatnot, you get to have them do exercises, fun exercises that we use as actors to this day, exercises that help you kind of communicate with people, to relax around people, to understand that you can make mistakes around the people that you are. If you can make mistakes around 5 to 6 to 8 to 10 to 11 to 15, 20 people, then you can make mistakes in front of 1,000 people, just as long as you understand that, hey, I'm here, I'm present, and I'm accepted. All right. So acceptance is a big thing. All right. So now, why exceptional students? Pretty simple. Because exceptional students are people as well. All right. It's very key for you to know that all these exercises actors do every day. All right. So there's not too much difference, just a little adaptation, really more so on your side. All right. In this portion, we will be introducing to you as an educator techniques that we use with acting. The purpose is to communicate with a variety of students, but in this case, we will be focusing on unique methods with exceptional students or students with disabilities. Remember, the unique part of it is really from your take. So it's about what you grasp from how they interact with these exercises, okay? So although this is a disability-focused session, I want to inform you that the approach is like how I work with actors, like I said earlier. The exercise that you will see later is nothing different than what actors do to prepare and enhance their craft, so it is not a fabricated method. The approach will be tailored to the individuals depending on their disability, but the exploration is always based on what you, as the instructor, are trying to establish out of your students. It's a very important thing. I want to say that one more time. The approach will be tailored to the individuals depending on their disability, but the exploration is always based on what you, as the instructor, are trying to establish out of your students. So, a lot of these exercises are catered to multiple disabilities, but a lot of these exercises can be catered to their particular thing. So I expect you to also, of course, since you guys have been working with exceptional students, I'm pretty sure that you guys know more than I do. However, I did make sure I did do research that a lot of these exercises are engaging and also fluent for many disabilities. All right. These exercises are also tailored to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or as we know as IDEA. We honor IDEA's goal in providing students with disabilities the same opportunity and integrity for students that are not disabled. So we are very, very keen into the integrity of developing with your students, and as the same way that we want to develop with all students across the board. All right, we're very passionate about that. So let's get started. All right. So I would like to start off with a couple quotes from some Famous figures in the acting industry, from playwrights to film and stage actors on the art of acting. I like to start off with quotes a little bit to kind of get things started, to kind of give you a premises of where we'll be going. All right? So, art is an attempt of the human being to express order, to try to find some order to all this chaos. Art is an attempt of the human being to express order, to try to find some order to all this chaos. So, as human beings, we're all trying to find our way in this mix of chaos. No matter if you have a disability or you don't have a disability, we're all trying to find it. But the beauty of it is that it is artistic aspect. It is an expression of ourselves. So we're all unique in our own way. All right. Actors are observers, collectors of bits and pieces of nuance, and speech and attitude and all the tiny morsels of trivia that add up to the truth if we do it right. By Whoopi Goldberg, all right? What this really means is that you as the educator, we have to observe and collect information from what the students do, how they express themselves, how they interact with certain things. It is very important. That's why through all these exercises, even though you might do some exercises with them, which is fun, make sure that you calculate and notate certain things that you see out of them. That's very important, all right? Every person, remember, acting is just a reflection of human life. So every bits and pieces of nuances of how they talk, how they move, the responses, the gestures they make after certain things, or how they react to a certain stimulus of certain things is very important. It's very important to understand these things because that's how we get closer to communicating with our students more closely and getting to know our students more closely. Also, it makes you more connected and they begin to trust you as an instructor. The life of your art is only as dynamic as the art of your life. I'll say it one more time. The life of your art is only as dynamic as the art of your life. Meaning that you're dynamic, that everyone's dynamic. Everyone's dynamic. You are as dynamic as you can be, as your life can be. The key thing is that we want to make sure that everyone's life, including exceptional children, begin to explore their life to make it more dynamic. So not only is exercises are fun for them or help to communicate, it helps them begin to explore their own life and make their own lives dynamic every single day. All right? We want to make sure that when they go out in the world, where they go out far, whether they come out close, or whether they want to discover certain things in their own home, that we don't boggle them down, that we don't suppress their abilities or suppress their possibilities of doing anything. All right, we want to expand and make their life dynamic because all life should be dynamic, especially including to art. So I like to bring art and make their life dynamic by reflecting from it. All right. So moving along. So now, even though this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful exercise for you, and these exercises are going to be very helpful for you, I do have a process of ways to think how to guide yourself through these exercises. Whether you videotaping someone, which not saying you have to do, but you can also, these are certain guidance things to think about how you can really help with your students and how you can really gauge where they're coming from. So just to start off, here are some steps. Explore. Number one, explore. Acknowledge. Adapt. And lastly, do. So, exploring. Explore the individual or individuals and who they are. It also brings your presence within the experience. It also brings your presence within the exercise, which is important for trust. This portion of the process almost never stops. You want to always explore new possibilities. That is very important. As actors, I can't tell you how many times that we read a script and we explore a script and then we get a character and we explore a character. And no matter if you're running the show for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 months, 6 months, we're always exploring and discovering something new. So this portion almost never stops. Never feel like you've explored enough. You never explored enough. especially human beings. We live long lives. So our whole life is full of exploration. So never stop exploring your students, all right? And they'll appreciate it too. Acknowledge. Accept who they are by identifying what it is that makes them unique. A disability may hinder a person from experiencing life of what we think is normal, but they can adapt with other ways to get around their disabilities. That discovery for them is what we want to encourage. But first, we must embrace who they are. Never, ever, ever, never take away from who they are. Accept who they are. Accept what is hindering them. Because the unique thing is that they end up adapting. I'm not going to ahead of myself, but they end up adapting. Like for instance, like if a person having hearing impaired, right? What happens? The rest of their senses become stronger, right? That's the beautiful thing of the human body. We adapt to ourselves, but we need to acknowledge that what they are and what makes them unique, not what hinders them and maybe kind of throws them off or holds them back from being something. No, we're just acknowledging their uniqueness. All right. So let's acknowledge it, embrace it. Okay. Next, adapt. We as the educators or mentors, we must acclimate ourselves to their needs and their obstacles. Even in acting, we must adapt, especially when we are being stimulated by others around. These students need us to adapt, which establish trust even more. So it's like if you're talking to someone, if you're very, very tall and you're talking to somebody very, very short, right? Instead of just talking over them, it does not help with the communication. So what do? Kneel down, sit down, talk to them face to face. That's just a little small synopsis or analogy that I can come up with. But that simple analogy is kind of how we have to adapt. We have to adapt to understanding where they're coming from, or of their process, or what makes them who they are. Now, here's the thing about adapting. You have to be very careful adapting because you never want to pander, but we want to make sure that we meet to their needs, all right? And lastly, simple. Let's do it. Let's play, all right? So think about these exercises. All these exercises are extremely fun. They can be fun, they can be inviting, but they're very informative for you as the educator, okay? And remember, exploration is a very, very key thing within this. If you want, you can take notes. Or if you want to, you can videotape. However, what's comfortable for you or your students. But of course, mostly what's important for your students, all right? So, another thing. Now, because I have to do this recording, only reason why I have to do this recording because usually this would be a one-on-one for this conference, but unfortunately we are dealing with a pandemic. So I took notes of those things and I'm very aware of those things. So talk about COVID-19 awareness. This most unfortunate issue is the impact of our nation's epidemic with coronavirus. However, fortunately, most people have learned how to adapt and even create ways to do exercise in schools. Even us actors and us theater practitioners, we have learned ways to adapt certain things for theater, whether it's making it more virtual or coming up with ideas to make sure that we keep our social distancing. So we all are adapting to this new situation that we are in. So COVID-19 is an incident that has happened, but it doesn't have to be something that handicap us from discovering. We got to keep discovering or finding ways to discover. I encourage anybody to find innovative ways to keep moving and keep discovering for ourselves. All the exercises that you will see have alternate solutions and concerns of COVID-19. Most of the exercises doesn't require you to touch, which you will notice when you see the exercises. If there is any concerns with the exercise in regards to COVID-19, feel free to email me with any questions, all right? Your decision on how to prevent contact with others is completely up to your discretion. Now, like I said, a lot of these exercises, you're going to discover that a lot of these things you can adapt for the awareness. For example, there's one game most of the games, actually all the games, but there's one particular game that you will use some balls and you will have to have, you would have to throw the ball at a student. So with that, you can either wear gloves, which is totally fine, Or, of course, if you feel like just having everyone sanitized, you're perfectly fine with that. A lot of these exercises does not require you to talk as much. However, you are free to wear a mask. So if you're worried about anything like communication-wise being impaired because of having to wear a mask to these exercises, totally fine. Most of these exercises does not require you to really speak. There's one exercise that requires you to make sound, which is a really cool, funky exercise. But a lot of these exercises you can perform, even with the awareness that we're in, with the pandemic that we're in, all right? So don't be afraid to do these exercises. You will be totally fine, all right? So if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. My contact information will be under here, as you can see. You can email me and whatnot. If you want to talk on one-on-one with the phone, just email me and I can send you my phone number and we can have a conversation about any of these things. A lot of the exercises that I can do, I love creating exercises. I like bringing acting exercises for everyone, including exceptional children. So if there's anything else you say, hey, do you have exercises for this or you have exercise for that? Feel free to contact me. I have a lot of information. I love developing new exercises for anyone, and we can have a conversation and talk about what works and what doesn't work. Please feel free to give me contact information or feel free to give me suggestions. All right, and like I said, always develop your students and work with them exceptionally. Thank you so much.